When last we left our heroes, an unexpectedly dire fight against a disciple of the Mother of Woe was won thanks to the unexpected arrival of a new friend, a shifty tiefling named Exagora Silvertongue. Disaster narrowly averted. Natari was revived just in time for Morlo to be revivified. With it now exceedingly clear that this attack had targeted the book Natari carried, Titus suggested storing the tome in the extra-dimensional confines of his haversack as an added layer of protection. After cremating the assailant's remains, introductions were made. Exagora revealed that he too was headed toward Wellsgrove to settle some business related to the deed of a property known as Grey Fate Manor. As our heroes began to bed down once more, Petra suddenly received 2 sending spells from Dylan Fiasco in quick succession. Hey, it's bad. We got ambushed. We lost Syncope. She had the tuning fork for our return. Not sure how or if I'll get back. Followed by tentacle-headed devils. Packed a punch. We'd get rid of one, another popped up. Tanea's dead. Sir Hilda too. Obed is hurt. Ryan Mar's missing. First of all, Aaron, does Petra want to make any response to Dylan?
Yes. I sent it to you. I think, right?
Okay.
How
do we help?
I can just say it.
I will fix this. Yeah. If you would just wouldn't mind omitting the first word, please.
Oh, F. Thanks. The first word is the F word, but we don't say that here because that's bad. F. How do we help? I will fix this and see you again, alive. Asking the backups for advice because they're smarter than me. Smooches.
All right. Everyone, please mark on your character sheets that you completed a long rest.
Ooh. Wunderbar.
Those of you who sleep awaken to a damp gray sky that masks and filters the rising sun. The first splattering drops of rain begin to fall as camp is broken, and by the time you return to the confines of the carriage, a steady rain begins to fall, soaking the countryside. With the snap of the reins, the 4 stout draft horses begin to move, their fet-locked hooves beating a steady percussion that sets the tempo of the closing hours of your journey toward Wellsgrove. I need someone to roll a d20, please.
Darn it, Jim's not here.
17.
17. Okay. And I assume Xanthion is taking the reins?
Yes.
All right. I do want you to make a vehicle check. So this would be dexterity plus your proficiency bonus. So you can make any ability check that uses dexterity and has your proficiency bonus added to it, but you are navigating the cart through a rainstorm, so I want to see how well you fare with that.
Can Felix take up the side coach position as well?
Yeah, of course.
Or is there any way to help him, or is that just sort of a one person, one role thing?
Do
20.
you
Natural 20.
Natural 20. Without yeah, that's a good question. Do you have proficiency in vehicles, Felix?
I do not believe so.
Okay, so yeah, you can only the rule that I'm using at the table is you can only help somebody on a check that you are also proficient with.
Sweet. Okay.
The idea being, of course, that otherwise you're just that guy that has no idea what he's doing. Was like, I'm helping. But yes, with a natural 20, for a total of what? 27?
20. Let me check.
Yeah, well, whatever. It doesn't matter. Ridiculously high roll. Those of you inside the carriage are seriously it's the smoothest ride you've ever experienced. You wouldn't even
26.
know that storming outside. So the rest of you cram into, well, I say cram, there's 6 of you inside of a carriage built for 8. So it's really not that cramped.
How many hours do I have to copy spells? Or
You're about about a 4-hour ride from Wellsgrove.
okay,
So you got 4 hours to work with.
I want to work with 4 hours.
Ed, this is your first time in this particular carriage. The carriage itself is gigantic, the biggest carriage you've ever seen, and it is designed to seat 8 people. It's basically like a bench seat in the middle that faces both forward and backwards, and then a seat all the way to the front and a seat all the way to the back. Each bench comfortably seats 2 people. The inside of the carriage is illuminated, but there is no source of the illumination, so definitely magic of some sort.
Right.
The engraving inside the woodwork is very ornate. This is very beautiful. Obviously, a lot of money spent on this. And being of tiefling heritage, you would notice on some of like the relief work that's carved into like the flowing decoration on the woodwork inside and like around the doorway and stuff, definite touches of infernal influence. So yeah, some homage to the 9 hells in the decor of the woodwork in here.
Right. Okay.
Please, language, Dad.
No, the 9 hells. It's actually a plane.
So, yeah. Whose is this? Where'd you guys pick this up?
Oh, this old thing.
Yes, this old thing.
Well, we killed some witches. No big deal.
Ah. Just witches? And how many?
3.
And
the drawer under your feet is an endless supply of food, I believe. Unless it's gone bad because of the witches. You can take your choice. I mean, feel free to eat as much of it as possible. We need somebody to find out if it's poisonous or not.
Okay.
It's not. It's delicious.
I mean, look at it. Does it look fine?
Yeah,
It
it
tastes
looks
great.
perfectly good.
You know what? Yeah. Is there like an apple or something in there?
It's mostly like prepared bundles of foods,
Okay.
like stuff for travel. So like some like trail mix and some crackers
That'll
and
work.
some dried cheese and stuff like that.
Takes out a bag of trail mix and just kind of
Medieval
sniff.
Lunchables.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Upscale rations is basically what it is. Stuff that
Right.
like nothing perishable. There are some like dried apricots and stuff like that that would keep for a while.
Sure. Just
Okay.
starts kind of munching on a bag of trail mix as we go down the
Isaac
trail.
is sort of like merging into the Feywild here. I love
Yeah, I
it.
see that. It's
Okay. So the carriage trundles on through the countryside of northern Trirexia. Switch over to that. Is there anything that anybody wants to attend to? Any conversations that want to be had during the travel into Wellsgrove?
Xanthion is going to ask Felix to try sending to his mom again.
Felix is sort of lost in thought and looks over at Xanthion. I have some people I need to send to after getting that message. I'm sorry, I can only do it so many times a day.
Hey, that's all right. This is just a thing I want to try sometimes. No worries. Are you all right?
I'm here.
That's not what I asked.
Yeah. But I'm okay.
All right. We gotta look out for each other, so don't
I
go
will.
do anything stupid. Don't do anything I would do.
Petra perks up and says, speaking of sending spells and doing stupid things, I got a message from Dylan, and Petra's gonna
actually,
relay the
sorry.
message.
When I
Oh,
was
did we already do
when I
that in
was
game?
running, when I was running Petra, I relayed it. Sorry, at the end of last session. So that the
Never
details have
mind.
already
Okay.
been. Sorry, I should have let you know.
Okay. Yeah, man, no, it's okay. I tried to make that segue smooth.
But
It
you
was
did a
pretty
really great
smooth.
job.
10 out of 10.
So she told us the message she got as a
Yes.
group. I would ask about that because I have no idea. Like, so what was the message that you received? Like, what's going on with all that? Sorry, new guy in the group here. I kind of want to know what I'm getting into, money or not.
Oh, I have to pull it up again. Shannon, do you have it ready to read?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Let's see here. Hey, it's bad. We got ambushed. We lost Syncope. She had the tuning fork for our return. Not sure how or if I'll get back. Tentacle-headed devils packed a punch. We'd get rid of one another popped up. Tanea's dead. Sir Hilda too. Obed is hurt. Ryan Mar's missing.
So essentially, I did something stupid and got a bunch of people killed, and now we're trying to get them out of hell. It's all my
Well,
fault.
Where
Whatever.
the hell? I mean, so you
It's
guys
one of
split the
them.
group and they didn't make it back, basically.
When Petra is saying this, what is her tail doing?
Oh, she's not like moving. She's just kind of like anxiously calm, but yeah,
Ed?
completely still,
Mhm.
uncharacteristically so.
X actually would recognize some of these names.
Okay.
Like Dylan Fiasco, the person that Petra said the message was sent from,
Right.
is the custodian of the College of Eloquence of the Bards.
Oh, okay.
Tanea is the name of the custodian of the College of Spirits. Syncope is the custodian of the College of Glamour. So these are people, like, these are high-ranking bards.
Okay.
You're
Right.
familiar with them, especially since you're just coming from Odic Fest.
Right. So they're all in the hills now. I mean, what were they sent there to do? And how did you end up working with them?
Yeah, it's a long story.
Well,
It's-
yeah.
Essentially, they went to bat for us and saved us after I had gotten into a little mess with, those 3 witches that we killed.
Okay.
Made
I
a
see.
made a bad deal. Needed the money. You know how it goes.
No, I do. Yeah, I do.
So yeah, they're cleaning up my mess, and I think I killed all of the bardic custodians. So that's yeah. She's gonna look out.
Well, last you knew they were just in hell there, or we don't know they're dead. You don't know they're dead, or do you know?
Dylan said most of them are dead.
Okay.
3 of them, I think.
Okay.
Right?
Breathe,
Tanea, out came
breathe,
Tanea, and
Petra, breathe.
The wording was interesting because the wording was, we lost Syncope. Said straight up, Tanea is dead.
Right.
And that is it, because it was only 3 custodians that went. So the assumption, of course, would be saying we lost Syncope either means she's dead or they don't know where she is.
Right.
Petra's just taking that as dead.
Right.
Emma's gonna kind of look up and look over at Petra and say, "You didn't kill them, Petra. It's not your fault."
Yeah. Just consequences of my actions. I'll be fine.
Hey, listen, one thing I know is that when people get into a situation, especially people like them, they don't do it without a sense of what they're doing. I mean, at the very least, this wasn't all on you. I wasn't there, of course, but I've made some I've made some decisions I wish I hadn't too. I know how that goes.
Yeah, I
Indeed.
stabbed an old lady once. It was crazy.
Okay, you killed a guy.
I
What?
killed a guy. I did. I stabbed him
Rick
with a
killed a guy.
trident.
You stabbed an old lady?
Can we hear the conversation being up there in the seat?
Yeah, we're all kind of criminals,
What,
but
you mean
Petra
you
and the
just-
backups is what we go by.
You just stabbed like one old lady, or like just one time with one old like what?
No, I fully killed her.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
no, for
Well, you don't want to half-ass these things. Okay.
She did technically lead us to
Oh,
an
no.
ambush.
to answer your question, Christian, yes, there is like a little window where the driver can hear what is going on inside the carriage.
Okay, I was working
Petra
on
and the
the assumption we
backups.
couldn't.
Sorry.
Well, you're fine. You're fine.
Petra's gonna say, respond to you don't half-ass anything and say Petra and the backups all ass everything.
All right.
Fair enough.
Christian, you said Felix has some sending spells. Are you doing that now or waiting until you get to Wellsgrove?
Well, we're within shot of Wellsgrove, right?
I mean, you were about 4 hours away when you started after you broke camp, and you've been going for probably the better part of an hour right now.
I'm gonna wait till we get to Wellsgrove.
Okay, cool.
At some point during the drive, Emma's gonna look at the new guy and like get this devilish grin on her face and be like, "Hey, you want to see something?"
Okay.
And she's gonna take out a from her bag of holding a book. Shannon, this
Mhm.
is the special book from the library.
Which one?
The book.
There were a
The
couple.
significant one.
Okay, I think I know which one you're talking about, but you
The
can
one that
correct me if
does
I'm wrong.
something.
Yeah.
And Emma's gonna like hold it over and then open it just angled upwards so it's not gonna hit anybody.
Oh, okay. So this is not targeting anyone.
No.
Okay, so Emma opens up this book, and all of a sudden, these right in the center of the carriage and the interior, these like translucent, like faintly glimmering green tentacles just shoot up and make this awful screeching, screaming sound, and then fade away.
What is
Petra
that?
curses in deep speech.
Don't distract the driver.
It's a
Yeah.
book.
You hear me curse in infernal. Like a book of what?
It talks about the far realm.
Most
of the stuff in it. And Emma's just gonna close it and put it back.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Well, you might actually want to read it because most of the stuff in that book's after us. And then go back to like mimicking little spell sounds. It's
I didn't know all your spells were in Goblin.
Can I safely read it? Is it going to attach itself to me in some way?
Now you can read it. Emma's gonna just open it back up so it's not gonna hit anybody. and then
Again, the
pass it
tentacles.
over. Just make sure you kind of point it away from you when you open it.
So don't look at it while I'm reading it.
Well, no, you can. When the
Just
tentacles are gone, after it does its little flashy thing, you're good to read it. Just don't
okay.
like close it and then open it in front of your face. It'll
Sounded
try and
nice.
eat you.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna just start sort of generally leafing through, but then reading anything I find interesting. What's it written in?
Did we ever establish what language it was written in?
I would assume.
I think it was in Elvish.
I have Elvish.
Oh, I don't. So
Okay, so yeah, it's
yeah,
it's a
leafing
script
through. Like I can't read it, man, but I would like to.
All right. Continuing on, anything else anybody wants to do during the downtime that you guys have in the carriage?
Shannon, did you see the message I sent to you? 'Cause it may pertain to what Marlo does right now.
Let's see here. Oh, I have a few ideas, but that's kind of up to you.
Okay.
If there's something that you're wanting to do.
I haven't at all thought of it, so just
Okay, yeah, no, I've got some.
As we go along, if any one or another sounds like the better idea, you go ahead and run with it. I'll trust you.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good. Okay, so the carriage moves along through a steady, soaking rain, and as the carriage moves on, the countryside begins to flatten out a bit, whereas the countryside around Verine Manor had a gently rolling hillscape to it. It finally just sort of gradually flattens out into nice steady ground, which is much easier to navigate the cart in the rain for Xanthion, and more flora starts to populate the countryside, as where it was very sparsely wooded around Verine Manor. You start seeing more and larger trees start to pop up as you're moving into what is definitely a more heavily forested area. After about 3.5 hours of travel, Felix and Xanthion start to catch glimpses up ahead in the distance of a lake. And those of you who are native to Trirexia know this to be the Drumlock, which is the second largest freshwater lake in northern Sangamet, around which there is a large forest, and Wellsgrove sits on the southern shore of the Drumlock. As a mercantile town, primarily by trade, it is a town that is populated mostly by fishermen and woodsmen, lumberjacks. And as you continue along, you start to pick up a road that kind of encircles the entire lake and forest that encircles the lake, and come into a more well, it's not a paved road, but it is kind of like a beaten path that makes its way through. And then up in the distance, you can start to see a few scattering of buildings as you're nearing the outskirts of a city proper. And along the street, you start to see the familiar look of roadside tables and people who are hawking wares outside of the city, so that they are not subject to the taxation within the city limits. And although it is raining and people have their muslin hoods up, sheltering themselves from the rain, they still call out to the carriage as you rumble past. And after about another half hour or so, you come to a sign that actually, for the first time, marks the road that you're traveling on with a name, and says, "Here begins Woodman's Way." And at that point, the road actually does turn to not necessarily paved, but an actual maintained highway. And the road kind of straightens out a bit and is more directly leading toward, off in the distance, what you can see as a town. Anything that anybody is wanting to do, stop, accomplish, say, think before arriving in the actual city of Wellsgrove itself?
I do.
What's that?
Yeah. As we're riding along, you see Exgor just kind of reach in like under his sash and pulls out a piece of like a letter, a note. He's pulling out an envelope. He's, by the way, I'm hoping maybe you all can possibly shed some light on this, because I could certainly use some. I got this letter, and I don't know what this is. I don't really know who it came from, but here, let me read.
What?
Who's that? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So here, let me read this for you. It says, I hope this letter finds you well. However, my money would be on it finding you hungover or still drunk. This person obviously knows me. Then again, Odic Fest comes but once a year. It says your hunch was correct. The deed was last notarized in Wellsgrove in early 2003 PC. It took some digging to find the words or find the records, but leave it to me to come through like I always do. The bailiff's office is in a bit of a pickle. Eventually you should really start making an effort to do some of the dirty work. It's not as easy as I make it look, but it isn't that hard. It says when you reach your quota for carousing, maybe make your way toward Wellsgrove. I think it's looking like there are more answers to be found there. Send a letter at me if you think you can make the trip. Doesn't have to be right now, but at your earliest convenience. Hope to see you soon. Don't forget yours. And Shannon, was it Arya?
Anaya.
Anaya. Yours, Anaya. Yeah, I received this, and I'm assuming it's related to the deed that I've been trying to find this property, but I don't. Does that name or does anything about that ring any bells to anybody?
Who's Anaya? Xanthion says that. That's just not me asking.
I was hoping you all would maybe know as well. I'm not entirely sure.
Does the name sound familiar?
Not a name you've ever heard before.
What
I got
about
nothing.
what about me? Anything I've heard?
No, you've never. I mean, when I say you haven't heard the name, like it's not like a completely exotic name. There's nothing like, oh, this is bizarre. Like, I mean, it is a name that people have. You've heard of people having this name. You might have stumbled across somebody randomly in passing who's had it. It's a name that's given in Trirexian culture, but nobody immediately like springs to mind as somebody that you think of when you hear the name. It's like it would be akin to hearing like Parker. I probably know somebody the name Parker, but
Gotcha.
nothing really.
Do I know of any Anaya that's significant enough that has ties to land and deeds and that type of work?
Also, just so that I know, did the letter actually pop up for everybody on your screens?
Yes, it did for me.
All right, cool.
Does anybody know anything about Wellsgrove? Do they know, like, is there any notable properties there? I haven't been before. I don't know.
What do you do for a living?
I I procure things to people
All right.
that don't have them.
To smooth this out a little more,
Yes.
I have assumed the identity of people, taken most of everything from them, learned my trade by stealing it from one of the most powerful syndicates on this planet. So when I ask you what you do for a living, I ask you to not lie to me.
Well, I wouldn't, because clearly you're a horrible person. No, I'm a smuggler. You want something moved from place to place, I can get it there.
All right. Well, that you said there that some deed was last notarized in Wellsgrove. So this person obviously is referring to some bit of information you automatically have.
I had a hunch. That's all it was. It was more of a gut feeling. I have the deed to the property, but I don't know.
And where's this property?
I thought it might be in Wellsgrove.
Oh. Can I see the deed?
Is it, Shannon? Is it in the thing?
So what now?
Is it in the thing as well?
I do not have it. I do not have that made up as a prop, because it actually takes quite a long time. Like, it's actually quite involved in the deed, but I can explain whatever, like, anybody who's looking at it wants to know.
Depict it if he'll let me see it.
I just want to know if X actually is going to hand it over.
Oh yeah, he would.
Okay, so it's, for one thing, it's very old. It is an old parchment. It actually feels like it might be written on a cloth of some type as opposed to like a paper product. It feels as though there is like silk strands maybe woven throughout whatever this is. So it's very old, very weathered. Looks to have probably been white at some point, but has yellowed with age. It is several pages long, and each page is embellished with like embroidery and gold leaf and border all the way around it. And you start flipping through, and it is written in Elvish. Do you read Elvish?
I don't.
One second, let me see. Yes, I do.
Okay, so it starts talking about deed proper to the illustrious manor of the Grey Fate family, passed down from generation to generation, and then it goes into a lineage of all of the various, very similar to how the deed to Verine Manor did, but this actually goes back well before the confluence into dates that were in like after the rivening and early after the rivening. Like the first founding is recorded in like the year 26 PR. So 26 years after the rivening. So this would be more than 1500 years ago. And it just goes through this whole like lineage of the Grey Fate family, as if it is very detailed and very important to note like the descendancy of this property down through the Grey Fate family. The problem being, you have never heard of a family called the Grey Fates, but according to this deed, like they are a big to-do. And then it gets into the description of the manor proper and the property that it rests upon, and talking about the division of where the servants' quarters is and where the master's quarters are, and like the ballroom, and this just description of this large property and multiple buildings, but it never actually says where it is. And the way that it's written is written in a way that there's just sort of like this implied assumption of whoever scribed this down that anybody is going to know what this is talking about. Like it's Grey Fate Manor, but you've never heard of the Grey Fate Manor. Taking about 20 minutes to read through the whole thing.
Any
As
kind
he's
of
reading-
landmarks that it talks about to refer to its location?
It talks about a view of the water.
Have I heard of anything called Grey Fate Manor?
No, you've never heard of anything called Grey Fate Manor.
And I'm relaying all this to everybody
Yeah.
as I read it.
Yeah. And as he's talking, I would probably explain. Sorry, Shannon, I didn't mean to cut you off. I would just explain. Yeah, I mean, just to sort of shed some light on the bigger picture here. See, I was adopted, and I didn't find that out until I was 18, 20, right in there, and I didn't know. And this was from my parents had this, my adopted parents, and they got it from my biological parents. Excuse me, and they said, keep it for him. Don't look at it. Don't read it. It's not yours. But when he turns of age, this is his. Give it to him. So I got this on the day I found out I was adopted. And yeah, I knew I had to leave home and seek my fortune. That was, a little over 10 years ago. And that's what I've been doing.
Have I ever heard of paper put together this way in any of my history?
Yeah, this was a common way, especially at the dawn of recorded history, which actually happened right after the rivening, when people became mortal and started dying for the first time. Like it was very common for the paper to be very elaborate, to be very decorated. It was a big to-do because it was essentially the well-to-do who were taking the time to make sure stuff started getting written down. Because they were the ones who had the means to start doing it. So you've seen documents that do have this sort of calligraphy work on them before. It looks like an official deed. It looks actually quite a bit like the deed to your family's household in Parasis.
All
like
right.
a noble or landed gentry
And,
manor.
and when it gets into the landmarks and stuff like that, is there anything that pops out that could be found if it survived?
Roll me an investigation check. 18. So it talks about a view of the water. There are a couple of mentions of a sizable body of water. It never specifically calls it a lake, but it also talks about like the maintenance of
Fresh water or salt? Does it talk about
it's
that?
talks about fresh water. It's definitely
Okay.
not talking about the ocean.
All right.
Because it also talks about like the varieties of fish that are available for fishing in the lake, and it's all freshwater.
It never
Fish that it
names the
refers to.
lake.
Never names the lake, refers it to it just as the body of water, and again written in language that assumes, sort of presumes, that whoever is reading this knows where you're talking about before it begins. Like it's like kind of like the way that it would talk about the property of a noble house in Parasus. Like everybody is going to know Octavius' house, so you don't have to specify the location of the head of Octavius' house. That everybody knows what you're talking about.
All right.
So with it talking about a freshwater lake, basically the three options would be the Drumlock, Lockmead, and Shady Grove Lake, because the Rydalock is actually a newer lake that happened after that land flooded after the riveting. So the problems are, and yeah, Medina isn't large enough because that's not actually considered a full-size lake. Medina also is an artist's commune, essentially, so there's no notable properties to be found there. So the three that you can discern would be either the Drumlock, Lockmead, or Shady Grove Lake. The problem with Shady Grove Lake is that it is in the Amber Vale, and this specifically makes mention of being near the Three Kingdoms. The problem with Lockmead is that it is abandoned and nothing has ever been built there. It's just abandoned. It's basically abandoned lakefront because there are significant goblin raids out of the southern spires. So it's basically considered unsafe.
Is there any like ruins on any of these lakes that I would know
of? The closest thing to like ruins would be Alguin's Hold, which is right there, but it isn't situated on a lake. Alguin's Hold actually used to be a city that was decimated by an orcish invasion after the confluence, when orcs began to be corrupted.
Okay. All right. In this manor, is it just land or is it a manor or?
A manor house, a servant's house, a stable. It goes into all of this stuff. A boat, like
the size and what it looks like, and
nothing specific. It just talks about it like there's going to be an assumption that the person knows what you're talking about.
Got you. Well, I'm going to try to put a mental map together of where this could be, and pay attention to landmarks and stuff from here on out.
Okay.
And then
you can hang on to that.
Oh, you want me?
You can hang on to that if you want, but I am going to need it back.
I do not trust myself with this because this is.
Then
valuable.
I don't either. I want it back.
Okay, well, here you go.
Okay,
take it.
Fair enough.
I mean, it's easy enough for me to look like you.
Yeah, we've been through this. All right, put it back on my sash.
Okay.
And what was that name? Can you put that name in chat so we can have it or add it to the notes or something? The name of the house.
Come into the chat.
Wasn't it like Anaya Twain?
Anaya Twain. Well, the Great Fate Manor. And then Anaya was the other guy.
Yeah, Anaya, Anaia. And if anybody wants to look at the letter, it is under the journal tab. entitled Exagora's Letter. Anything else anybody is wanting to do before arriving in Wellsgrove?
I don't. I'm out of potion reagents, so
All right.
not particularly.
Could I please have everyone in the party make a wisdom saving throw, please?
Wonderful.
Which one's that?
Only because you said please.
D20?
On your character sheet under the saving throws, you can just click on where it says wisdom.
I got
Oh.
a 17.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. Hang on.
Oh boy, Titus really out here making those great rolls.
And plus 0, you live and die by the whim of the dice on that.
Titus is not a wise person. It's really hard for me to play at times.
Uh-huh.
I do it.
Yeah. It came through twice for some reason, but we'll take the
Okay.
first one.
Yeah, you probably want to take the first one, anyways.
Yeah, if I can, yes.
Pretty sad when you take a 7. But
Yeah.
Yes.
Better than that
And
one.
actually, Jim is not here, so I will roll for Natari. Bookmarks.
And
We do not feel anything from this, correct?
No, correct. Sorry, Christian, you were saying
Same.
something?
Same question.
Yep. No discernible. Nothing discernible.
Interesting.
Natari, there he is. Wisdom. All right. Natari got a 10. Xanthion, please make another wisdom saving throw.
All right. 15.
All right. And Natari got a 21.
This
His
rain-
second wisdom saving throw.
This rain sound, I've got to go pee. I gotta go pee.
Go for it.
Oh, for the purpose of our elves, is it to resist being put to sleep or anything of that sort that Fey ancestry would affect?
That's a good question.
Felix with a 14. Petra with a 10. Emma with a 23.
Because they thought they'd get advantage. Gagi.
All right. Okay. And you are entering the city of Wellsgrove.
Grovey.
A soaking spring rain falls steadily as the carriage trundles up Woodman's Way into the outskirts of Wellsgrove. As you approach, a peculiar sound steadily emerges from beneath the blanketing noise of the downpour, a high-pitched, grinding whine, reminiscent of a frightened animal or an upset child. You approach a massive building bearing a sign that reads Seneca Sawmill, and immediately identify it as the source of the sound. Through a massive open door, you catch sight of a large mechanical contraption in which logs are continuously ferried on rails past a huge spinning saw blade, the logs rotating with each circuitous pass to shape them from rough-hewn tree trunks into uniform cuts of lumber. This is impressively advanced technology, managing in hours what would traditionally take days by hand. The carriage jostles as the wheels find well-worn ruts in the mud as you enter Wellgrove's proper. Rows of building with stone and whitewashed wood facades close in to line the streets on either side. Some of these tightly cramped buildings have signs announcing the business they hold within. On your left, you pass what appears to be a weapon shop named the Pointy End. A little farther up on your right, the Pinset Locksmith. though the facade is dark and the business seems closed for the day. Next door to the locksmith, a large 3-story building bears a sign over the front door that reads Sleeping Dogs Boarding House. But this has been painted over, and above it in bright red paint, the words Wellsgrove Orphanage have been hastily scrawled. Next to the orphanage, the Bucker's Binge Tavern appears a popular hangout. Catty corner from it, an establishment named the Swillery offers competition for perhaps a lower class of clientele. Across the street, the Reader's Creed Bookbinder and a Stitch in Time Sewery sit closed for business.
You said we heard screaming?
No, that was the sound of a sawmill.
Oh, okay.
You'd never heard it before, but you identified what it was.
Okay.
Do you have a map of the city?
The end of Woodman's Way opens into Wellsgrove Town Square, the center of which is occupied by the Pantheon, a rotunda devoted to the worship of the 10 legal gods. Outside the Pantheon, Wellsgrove's notice board stands sheltered from the rain and brimming with announcements and proclamations. Framing the square on west and east, 2 large inns face each other, the Massive Halfling and the Captain's Quarters. Of the 2, only the Captain's Quarters seem to host any activity. The city seems to be sleeping in on this rainy day. Foot traffic is light. Welcome to Wellsgrove. Look that over, and I will be right back.
I don't love the harlots desperately needed to give a couple hardworking girls a night off. Apply in person with Madame Pearl Buffer.
Oh,
That
no.
sounds fun.
Oh,
I
Petra's
don't.
taking that one.
Pearl.
Sorry, y'all.
Oh my
Please
god.
no. Oh my god, that's ridiculous. I saw the board pop up and I immediately started searching for anything about the goblin with a wand of purple heart.
Oh my gosh.
The sawmill is apparently seeking a tinkerer or somebody so mechanically inclined. Apparently there's a growing orphan crisis.
Emma might end up going to help with the orphan crisis thing.
Furnished rooms to
I
let.
think we should surprise Shannon and we all split up and do something
I
different.
think
We should.
I think we shouldn't.
Well, I'm just saying I'm asking Shannon to be written out for a while, so I'm gonna pick one of these and go do it by myself.
Here we go.
So, just so you
I'm
all
just
know.
saying we could
Well, you
choose
will be
the...
missed. We miss our turtle tank.
I'll be back on April 16th.
Hey guys, you do know that he can hear you, right?
For sure.
Well, of course. I mean, this is being recorded too.
Or we could just have a day of carefree sailing with Captain Trevin Payne.
I feel like
His
that's gonna get us
group rates
attacked
are
by a sea
available?
monster. I feel like
Yeah.
that's gonna get us attacked
Group
by a sea
rates are
monster.
Or the
group
people
rates are
who
available though. We could get a group on.
Yeah, but there's probably a
Yeah.
sea monster.
I would say the person probably putting it on is actually like robbing people, I would assume.
With our luck, there's gonna be a sea monster.
Hear me out.
Excuse you. Where's your sense of trust? Carefree sailing, and it's a Groupon. Come on.
Yeah, carefree
Yeah.
when we're eaten by a sea monster.
Yeah.
Well, I think the poster
Yeah.
that specifically says they're having problems telling the difference between drunk people and undead.
Yeah,
Like if that's an official problem, that there's that many, that it's a thing, I'm a little concerned.
I think from now on, every time we come across one of these boards, we do everything on it before we
I
move
feel like
on.
we should. No, because Shannon's prepared something for everything.
I'm sure he has, yeah.
So we are gonna start with the Madame Pearl Butter, right?
No,
Where?
Petra's taking that on her own. She's not.
Madam
Just-
Pearl.
No,
She's not
with.
going to share the glory.
Oh no, she knows like all the brothels in Parasis. No, this is like a personal thing.
Oh, well.
Don't worry about it.
Okay. In the meantime, Morlo's gonna walk up to this, and does everybody have a? Can everybody see it?
Nurturing orphans. Who wants to be the orphan caretaker?
That's the one Morlo's.
That's probably. I feel like Emma would do that.
Yeah, probably a very bad
I
idea.
think Morlo is.
I think
Morlo just
Morlo
ripped
would do that. Morlo's all about keeping kids safe.
Morlo just ripped it off the wall, and just so we can get a better view at it.
I'm interested in who this old Cheney person is.
Yeah,
I am as well.
I like that,
It's
and I like
Dick
the one
Cheney.
next to it. In need of able-bodied, keen-minded sleuth to unravel a vexing mystery. I think I like that one.
I saw that. Paid in gold or medical services.
Means you're not coming back in one piece?
Maybe.
Old Chinny.
Cheney, probably.
Guys, if
I
you
like
want to talk
Cheney.
about if you want to talk about anything that you don't want him to hear, now's the time. He's not here right now.
Hmm.
You
Very
see, I
How
feel
are we
like that's
supposed to
great.
trust you?
Still
Uh-oh.
being recorded.
Yeah.
If he really wanted to know our plan, he could just watch it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you have
that's-
arrived in Wellsgrove. You have a couple of
Huzzah.
issues that need to be dealt with.
A couple.
First and foremost, you have a very large carriage that needs to be stored. But what would you like to do?
I'm gonna find a parking spot.
We best find an inn somewhere that has a stable attached to it.
Yeah.
So there are two very large inns that are on either the east or west side of this city square. There is the massive halfling and to the east, and there is the captain's quarters to the west.
Just say that one more time.
The massive halfling.
I'd recommend we probably want to park it on the east side of town.
You guys did not notice a stable on the way in. From first glance at the front facade of these two inns, neither one seems to have a stable attached to it.
Does one look nicer than the other?
They're both of, they're neither one of them look like dives. They're both like, stone and whitewashed wood, a couple of stories tall. They both look like reasonably decent places to stay. The notable thing is that of the two, the captain's quarters is the only one of the two that appears to have any activity going on whatsoever.
Probably a sign.
Santian pulls up to the massive halfling.
Okay.
Less business, less trouble. We get in a lot of trouble.
All right, so you pull
Sure.
to the up to the massive halfling.
I spend 10 minutes parallel parking the carriage.
You successfully complete a 37-point turn.
Giant hole in the ground now.
Felix is just standing out in the rain. You're good. You're good. Good.
Wait. Okay.
Turn it more. No, the other way.
The halfling does look open, correct? I mean, it's not like dark and all ominous looking.
Well, I mean, actually, there are no lights on in any of the windows in the massive halfling.
This is a good sign. This is a good sign. Xanthion will go up and knock on the door.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with him.
Okay, so you guys head up and knock on the door.
Titus is still copying spells.
Okay, you knock
Petra
on the
will
door.
watch from the carriage.
Okay. No answer.
I open the door.
It's locked.
I kick in the door.
What?
Xanthion,
Let's know.
Who went
we're
with
the
him?
troublecausers in this situation.
This is why
now.
we get in trouble. Let's not damage property.
Okay, I look in a window.
Okay.
Okay. So you look in a window. Make a perception check.
All the while that's going on, you hear Felix go, Xanthion, I swear to the gods, if you break that window, so help me.
Yeah, they
21 perception check.
don't break anything.
All right. So you look in. The inside of the room is dark. Like you're looking into the common room of the inn, which is the central structure. There's a big rounded bar in the shape of a horseshoe. Nobody is behind the bar. There are multiple round tables. There are multiple benches. There is a small stage against the back wall that has a piano. It's a fairly nice looking place, but completely abandoned.
Do I hear
So-
anything?
With a 21, you kind of press your ear up to the glass. No sounds.
I don't think anyone's in there, so there's no rent.
Okay,
Yeah.
so don't kick the
Curious
door in
snooping.
then. I'll tell you, Exegor attempts to pick the lock on the front door.
And about at this point, those of you in the carriage notice a detachment of about 4 Guards Corps
Oh god.
patrolmen making their way toward the carriage and the massive halfling.
Do I notice that we're picking the lock over there?
Make a perception check since you are kind of like preoccupied.
Do I hear the guards?
Yeah. Am I aware in time to stop doing what I'm doing?
I mean, are you at this point? You're just beginning to fish out. Yeah, no, Titus is pretty lost in the process of scribing, but
All right. What do the guards look like? What's the expressions on their faces?
just basically kind of just like resigned frustration.
Emma's gonna step out, like
An 11-year-old girl steps out of the carriage.
yeah. Emma's gonna step out of the carriage, like as she does, kind of mutters a muttering of druidcraft to tidy up her own little like the fancy clothes she's wearing,
Mm-hmm.
and she's gonna like meet him in the middle.
If I have time to notice, I'm gonna walk over to where they are too, unless I'm too busy doing what I'm doing.
No, actually, you're just fishing out your thieves' tools, and then you look over and you notice.
Yeah, put them away and,
Yeah.
and walk over.
Felix is going to say to both of them, all right, we've been on the road for a while. We're in civilization. How about we look before we act, please?
Sorry. And then I join Emma.
The,
Emma's gonna wait
Yep.
till they get close.
they
Do
basically
like the snooty noble thing where it stands right next to the carriage and like lets them get close.
and they call out as they watch Xanthion and X come down from the front door, down the steps onto the city square proper, and they kind of are probably about 20 feet away from the carriage at this point. One of them, the one in the front, just kind of puts his hand up and calls out to you and just says, if you're looking for lodging, the only option in town is the captain's quarters.
Why isn't this one open?
It's abandoned
Why?
because no one runs it.
As a philosopher.
Very astute.
It's not open for business. There's no proprietor. It's a derelict building.
How long has it been abandoned?
Oh, for as long as I can remember.
Which is
I don't know.
Generally-
Let me check my logbook and see if I can get you a date. It's closed.
Generally, Xanthion, it's polite to buy them a drink or at least a meal before you start asking someone their age.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, guardsman. What is the open lodging that you have in town?
And he just points straight across, like literally straight across the square from the massive halfling toward an inn that is obviously open and has some activity going
So-
on. The sign out front that says the
At this
captain's
point,
quarters.
Exegor kind of takes a small, like not
Does
stepping
Petra
at them, but like
and
a small step
Titus
forward,
hear this?
and he starts talking to the guard.
Petra and Titus. Yeah, at this point, you guys hear the conversation going on.
All right,
So
that's
I
all I
kind of
want to know.
All right, Ed, what were you
Step up
saying?
real. I kind of take just a quarter step, just a small little forward. Gentlemen, I apologize. We are a little bit not ourselves this afternoon, as you can see. We are, not from Wellsgrove here, and we are looking for a place to stay. We're looking for a place to be able to store our carriage and horses. And I'm sorry, we're just hungry and tired and a little disheveled, and I do apologize for any rudeness. I hope you understand.
Oh, no harm done. I can vouch for the captain's quarters. It's run by a lovely husband and wife. As far as, that is a big carriage.
Yes.
Well, you can definitely check with. You can definitely check with Githra at Saddlebreak Stables. It's just south of the sawmill. You probably passed by it and didn't even notice it as you were coming in.
Aren't they selling horses to
We'll
make
do that.
space, though?
She's pretty full up, but if you don't want it out in the open, she's going to be your best bet.
Is there a place to actually store the carriage with this abandoned inn? I'm just wondering if I start looking around.
Wait, are you asking the DM or are you asking the
No,
game?
I'm just asking in game. My character's just observing.
Neither one of these inns appears to have a stable attached to it from what you have seen.
I am curious, though, talking to the guard still. I am curious. You wouldn't happen to know? I mean, it's abandoned, but does anyone currently own it, or is it truly abandoned?
If there's an owner, they haven't been here for years.
Fair enough. It just seems a shame to let such a nice place kind of go to rot. But
well, that's kind of Wellsgrove for you. That's fishermen and lumberjacks. We don't get a lot of money this way, so.
Fair. Well, I saw on the bulletin board there's a problem with the undead. Is that a big issue here?
Well, I mean, we've had our fair share, but pretty much everywhere in Trirexia has been dealing with the zombies.
Okay, so nothing above board, nothing more than average.
No.
Good. Okay. Fair enough.
How bad?
So who do you all work for? Is it just the town?
Oh, we're under Captain Sindrin Schulf, captain of the guard. Isaac, were you about to say something?
Asked how bad the undead situation was here.
I mean, maybe a couple of sightings a week. With the reports coming out of Elmswain and Sheridan, we've been able to kind of change our tactics and learn how to take them down. But, it's bad here, it's bad everywhere.
Titus is going to look at Petra and kind of in a quiet voice to where it's only between me and her and be like, do you want to stay here and make some competition for there? So I'm pointing at the abandoned inn and I'm going, do you want to stay here and make some competition for there, and point across the street to the one that's busy?
I'd rather go where the party is at, if I'm honest.
Well, that sounds good enough to me.
I could do with some noise and merriment. And booze.
I close my book and I'll be like, well, let's go. Let them work out what happens with this carriage.
Onward.
All right, so where are you guys heading to?
As I'm getting out of the carriage, I'm changing into a plump, robust man that's just like, well, let's go have our fun and leave them to deal with this pettiness. And present my
Indeed,
arm
my
to
dear.
her. And then
She
start
takes
walking
his
toward-
arm.
And just pay
takes his arm
no
and
mind to everybody else as we just head straight to the drinks.
To the alcohol.
They just kind of watch you guys go past.
You know,
Waltz.
when like in a cartoon, you've got like a character that like is all like buff and then like it just moves down and then they just got a big gut. That's what I imagine Titus did.
And I sent you a message on Messenger.
Okay.
Stanthorn will head to the stable to try to find
Yeah.
space.
And I'll ride with him as we go over.
All right, Felix, nothing that you can see as far as what would look like the Reeves house from your current vantage point. There is actually next to the massive halfling inn, you do notice, because you're standing like right there, the guards court keep is actually like situated just south of the massive halfling and then set back a little bit away from the road. Not the bailiff's, that is not the bailiff's location, but that is where the captain of the guard would be. Typically speaking, a bailiff works out of the Reeves manor.
Okay. Felix is gonna look to Xanthion and Exegor and just, you guys go park. I'll catch up with you. Go make sure they don't get into trouble. I've got some things I got to do.
Felix, we're already splitting the party more than I would like.
Well, no, we're not. You'll go with them, and then I'll be off on my merry way doing something. I'll be fine. Really, let's be honest. Out of everybody here, who do you trust more to stay out of trouble by themselves?
No one, not a single person here.
Coming from the one who stabs geriatric women in a deep-hated effort to save alive, yes, of course, that makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the best judge of character, obviously.
Oh, of course, yes. Go park the carriage.
Stanthorn takes off with the carriage.
Before they head out, Felix is going to pat Exegor on the back. Good to have another diplomat in the group.
Yes, well, I'll do what I can. This should be fun.
Let's make sure they don't get into any trouble. I'm sure they'll have fun. You'll enjoy it, but just make sure there's no trouble, please.
Fair enough.
And then gonna go in the direction the guards corps men went.
Actually, the guards corps guys are standing right there just to see if you guys need any assistance with anything. You guys are all just kind of starting to split up, but they're kind of ready for you guys to offer assistance to whoever needs it.
I thought you were saying they're ready for us to get out. So Felix is going to go up to them. Hi, gentlemen. My name is Felix Septim House. I have some business that I would like to discuss with the bailiff. Would one of you mind giving me a escort there?
And you just kind of see them, the four of them, like kind of exchange glances with each other, and like, yeah, we'd love to have a word with the bailiff too.
Oh, do tell.
We don't have one.
Oh, really? Don't have a bailiff? Well, whatever happened? Undead? Or was it the old?
No, actually. Hold on just one second. Well, no. We had Bailiff Bluntsunder, Corshanlin Bluntsunder. She was fantastic. She was the bailiff here for, oh gosh, better part of a century and a half. She retired back in 274. Never sent in a replacement.
Never sent in a replacement. Well, I'd like to have a word with the Reeve then, if that's all.
Because Felix would know this. This is unheard of. It is unheard of for a standing city in Trirexia to not have a bailiff.
Well, then, if at all possible, I'd like to have a word with your Reeve.
Okay, yeah. Well, Reeve Wall is a very busy woman, but you can definitely put in a request. Her the Reeves Manor is all the way south on Trawler's Trail, just right as you're about to leave the town, and just kind of points south out of the city square down toward a street that kind of leads out to the southeast.
All right. Well, Felix will start trotting.
Okay. And as you trot away, you hear a voice come into your mind.
This is Malton Toss Orith. Your siblings in Paramore are tucked in at the Urbane Bastion. They will be safe here. No complications from your parents.
What of Estelle? Sorry, scratch that. What of Madame Trelawney? She was to be included in that group.
There's like this moment of what you can tell is probably like, am I going to burn another spell slot on answering this guy?
Right.
Madame Trelawney is tucked in here as well. They are safe. Trust the Conclave. We know
I will, brother. I think you should know, too, that we know that Talavan has been lost in the Hells. We do not know where he is, if you do not know that already. Please communicate that to the Council.
No response.
All the way.
All right. Who is going where? I just need to know who's going where.
Morlo grabs the beast caldera well.
Okay.
I think Xanthion and I were going to park the, or see about parking the and storing the carriage.
Okay.
Petra
Is
and Titus
there-
are headed to.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Aaron.
Petra and Titus were headed to, I think, the other inn, or were we headed to the Swiller?
We're headed to the busiest place that we see that has alcohol. Right?
From where you're at right now, the busiest place you would see would be the Captain's Quarters Inn.
Okay.
Unless you want to
We
go
follow the
somewhere
party.
else. I'm just kind of going.
Petra says, shall we? Into the inn we go.
And Isaac, what is Emma doing?
Is there anywhere that might sell herbs or anything of the sort? Alchemical ingredients?
Nothing that you can see from where you are at.
Are the guards still there?
Yes.
I'm gonna ask them that.
All right, so you walk up and ask them. Well, I mean, you can try the Crow's Nest up in Drudgetown. It's around the corner from Reader's Creed. You're going to be going out of town, past Reader's Creed, next building, around to your right, and it's really tucked back into an alleyway, but it's pretty easy to miss. It's a real hole in the wall, but I'm pretty sure that's an apothecary.
Emma's gonna thank them and start heading that way.
Okay. So we've got Emma looking for the Crow's Nest. We've got Felix going toward the Reeves Manor with Morlo, and we have Xanthion and Exagora going to try to store the carriage, and then we've got Petra and Titus going into the Captain's Quarters Inn. Okay, we will take this one at a time. Emma, please roll me a d20.
Investigation?
Nope, just a flat d20. Okay, so you make your way north out of the city square and then hang a left going back the way that you had come in, because you actually passed Reader's Creed. You remember exactly where you're referring to, and you make your way down to the end of the block and take a right and go up, and you see this little, very small building kind of wedged in between two other buildings. The sign hanging out front is a carving of a nest with a crow sitting in it.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna. Does it look to be open?
Yes, it does look to be open.
I'm gonna start heading inside.
All right, so you open up the door and immediately just the smell of an apothecary, this dense herbal smell just washes over you. There's this very dark in here. There's lit by like a couple of candles, but there's no windows. The glass in the door is the only source of exterior illumination, so it's very dark. And you can see the apothecary or herbalist, whoever runs this place, is in the far back of the shop, which is honestly maybe 15 feet away from the front door. It's a very small building. Just kind of hear the tinker of glass and the sound of like a mortar and a pestle in the mortar grinding some stuff up. The figure does not seem to notice your arrival.
Emma's going to step in. The shopkeep is obviously busy, so she's going to kind of peruse, see if they might have anything. The main thing Emma's looking for is ingredients to make the next step up of healing potions.
Okay.
Forget that.
It's actually the same. It's exactly the same materials that it takes to make a basic healing potion. You just need more of them.
Okay.
And as you start like looking around for the first time, the noise that you're making seems to draw the attention of the shopkeep, and they turn around to face you. And at first, you think that the person is wearing a plague doctor's mask, like this long, pointy, like countenance looking at you. But then you realize it's not a mask. You are looking into the face of a human-sized crow.
And have I ever met anyone like this?
Oh yeah, you've met Kinku before.
Okay. Emma's going to kind of look up and give a friendly wave.
And the crow's beak parts, and out of the back of its throat, deep down inside, you hear,
"Welcome."
Do you have a soundboard for the Kinku?
Love it.
No.
Okay.
This is awesome.
Okay.
Very cool.
Really bringing the fire.
How much do you sell healing ingredients for? Healing potion ingredients?
What is the this is the DM question here. It costs half of what it's supposed to be half of what the potion is worth, is that right?
Yeah.
All right.
It says a potion of healing, a normal potion of healing, is worth 50 gold.
All right.
So how much more do I need to make a potion of superior?
Potion of superior healing or potion of greater healing?
Or greater, sorry.
The greater is... Hold on, now you're making me look up the alchemy rules that I sent you. Oh no, it's not alchemy rules because it's herbalism. Sorry.
Yeah.
So you need 75. You need 75 gold pieces worth of materials
to make a greater.
Yep.
So does that make superior 100 gold pieces worth?
Superior.
Because if I can just make some superior, damn.
I think it takes a while to make a superior, though.
Oh.
So, find superior. It takes 225 gold pieces to make a superior healing.
Okay, so it starts getting up there.
Yeah.
How much do you sell? Or I guess I would just ask, do you sell the herbs required to create healing potions?
And the beak just bobs up and down, and it kind of gestures with a winged hand or a feathered hand over toward one corner where there's bottles that you, as you turn to look at where the Kinku is pointing to, immediately recognize the materials that you need.
Emma's gonna step over and look at him, and she's going to step over and look at them. And how much is here?
In this shop, I mean, there's probably, maybe what you're seeing here is at least 500 gold pieces worth. Just what he's got out on the shelves.
Emma's gonna kind of nod and look around. You can come back to me. I'm gonna get together a list of what I'm gonna look for.
Sounds great. Okay. Felix, we'll take you next.
Okay.
Roll a d20.
Roll a d20. Just a regular d20, just like
Regular
Emma?
D20.
Okie dokie.
Okay. And you start to make your way down south out of the city square, down a street that leads out of town called Trawler's Trail, and past some shops, and then into the last line of, the last row of buildings before you exit the Reeves Manor proper. Before you leave Wellsgrove proper, you see the Reeves Manor along the right-hand side of the road. Hard to miss. They're pretty standard appearance as far as the way that they're built.
Right. I have Morlo with me. Is that right?
Yeah, I think Scott was tagging along to the Reeves Manor for the orphan posting.
Okay. Well, Felix is going to look over at Morlo. Well, my reptilian friend, shall we make an impression on the reef?
Yeah, I remember Morla ripped the thing off the wall, so he's like, that's where he's committed to going. So it shouldn't be a question you have to ask.
Tally ho.
All right, so you are making your way in?
Yep.
Okay, so you enter the Reeves Manor, greeted by a liveried servant as soon as you step through the door. Young woman, probably in her mid to late 20s, and she just greets you with a bow. And hold on just one second.
I was thinking he was going to have a soundboard bite for this one, too.
No, this is a human. What's up? Okay. And she just greets you and just looks at the two of you. Greetings. What can I do for you?
Hello, my name is Felix Septim, and this is Morlo Espinoza. I would like to have a meeting with the Reeve. And my friend here is... What was it again, Morlo?
I just picture
Gotta have a
Morlo
step
holding
away.
up the sign and not saying a word.
Nice.
He's a man of few words. I believe something about the orphanage.
Oh, yes. Applications for the orphanage can be submitted here. Not directly to the Reeve, but they will make it.
He doesn't wish to see the Reeve. I do.
Indeed. I'm sorry, what was the name?
Felix Augustus Flavius Septim II.
Indeed, my lord. Can I inquire as to what the nature of your business is?
Madame Varai.
Madame Varai. Okay. Very well. I will see if the Reeve can squeeze in a meeting with you at the current time. If not, where are you staying?
Well, I believe the only inn that's operable at the moment, actually.
Indeed, the captain's quarters.
That was the name. Yes, thank you.
All right. I will, if you'll wait here, I will inquire if Reeve Wald has a moment. Could I offer you something while you wait?
Glass of wine, please.
Absolutely, of course. Flags down a servant. Tells them what to bring you. Your product goblet of wine.
Thank you. You do the Reeve much honor in your service.
A bow and a curtsy. And the person you were talking to runs off deeper into the heart of the inn, or the Reeves Manor. And after a brief pause, probably wait about 5 or 10 minutes. She comes back up to you. It's like, the Reeve is exceptionally busy at the moment, but she would be willing to meet you around dinner time, if that works for you.
What time is it right now? Out of game?
You guys made it in. It's probably about 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
That is acceptable.
Indeed. Reeve Wall would love for you to join her for dinner this evening. We will send dispatchment to the captain's quarters in when she is prepared to meet with you.
Wonderful. I will make sure to look my best. Do I know anything about this Reeve in particular?
Not necessarily. This is not a well-to-do town. This is a town that exists primarily to produce lumber and fish. So this isn't really somewhere that you would have spent much time worried about.
Okay. So I helped Morlo fill out the application.
Yep. So Morlo's information is given, and you're told that word will be sent to the captain's quarters inn if your assistance is needed. All right. That leaves us to Petra and Titus. So you enter the captain's quarters inn into a large common area with a large bar that frames the entire back wall of the room. So it's one large bar, multiple tables. The room is probably about filled to half capacity. There is a young man with a young human male, hair pulled back into a ponytail behind the bar, taking orders. There are a few servants running around, also taking orders for the people at the table, while the male with the ponytail attends to the bar itself. Every now and then taking orders for food from the bar and just yelling back over his shoulder into the kitchen behind him about what's being ordered for food at the bar.
What's the general vibe of the room?
It's not boisterous. It's the lunch rush. A lot of the people in here are obviously fishermen or woodsmen, who either don't have work to be doing today or have just come into town to take a meal before heading back out for their evening shift. Just kind of quiet, kind of chill, kind of laid back.
Since I'm a backup, I will follow your lead.
Can you guys hear me?
Barely.
Put my earbuds in. Okay. Well, did we discuss Titus's new persona?
Is anybody else having trouble hearing Aaron?
Shit.
Yeah, I can barely hear.
Yeah, Aaron, you're really quiet.
Sorry. Hold on.
Oh, I can hear you now.
There, that's perfectly fine.
That's really good. Yeah.
Okay. Did on the way to the inn, did Petra and Titus discuss Titus's new persona, like name and all that? Like, she's like ready to yes and whatever this new shit you're on, stuff Sorry.
I am a wealthy landowner named Bartleby Buzzkill.
Bartleby Buzzkill. I think we're gonna have a wonderful time together, Bartleby.
I believe I will follow your lead in here, and let's see if they notice me get skinnier as I drink.
Oh, well, I want a new persona too. Hold on. I am Lady Buzzkill. Let us adjourn into the inn and make a name for ourselves.
Well said. It reeks of fish here, but I believe I can make it. I believe this calls for whiskey and a ukulele.
Let us dazzle them with our personalities.
Very well.
Petra's just gonna like kick open the inn door and walk into wherever the owner is, arm in arm with
when she kicks in the door and I walk in, I'm going to be like, I would like to buy a drink for everyone in here. You may partake in whatever servings you wish, and thank you for my presence.
Oh, darling, you're starting so early, please.
I have to make an impression. These people have never seen our kind, and we need to let them know how we roll.
We do roll rather fast, don't we, darling?
Yes, we do.
Cheers, everybody.
Everybody's just kind of like turning and looking at you. And then they look back at the bar, the guy who's got the ponytail, who's just like holding like 2 tankards of ale, like midway toward reaching them over to someone, and like looks at you guys, sets down the drink, slides them over to the patron. I'm gonna need to see some coin before I start divvying up drinks if it's all on your tab.
Oh, what a smart young lad.
You are indeed one of the most intelligent men I have ever seen. I walk over and I'm just going to spread platinum across the counter. Will this do?
Drinks are on Lord Buzzkill.
Thank you. Thank you.
I do believe I did earn some of that coin, so some of them are on me.
Indeed. Lord and Lady Buzzkill. Welcome to the captain's quarters. We don't get a lot of nobility in here.
We are not nobles. We stomp on them.
Nice. Ephraim Dursk, proprietor of the captain's quarters. Evangeline, can you please help me, honey? And shouts over his shoulder. And then you see from out of the kitchen this young human woman, hair pulled back into a very tight bun, wearing a dress, a simple dress with an apron over it. So, well, I'm kind of in the middle of cooking. Looks around, looks down at the bar, sees platinum, like a handful of platinum spread out. I was like, yes, what can I help you with, dear? I was like, this is Lord and Lady buzzkill, and they're buying a round for everybody in the establishment. So could you help me with some tankards, please?
Charmed.
Sure thing. And Evangeline goes and starts kind of pouring out tankards of ale as everybody in the tables and in the booths start filing up to get a drink. And multiple pats on the back to both Titus and Petra as these people grab a drink and kind of slap you on the back.
Cheers, darling.
Cheers. And
One,
I'm gonna kind of pull Petra to the side. Let's find out what's going on in this this town. Let's see what's the craze. What's the biz? We'll split. Ask questions.
All right, I'll follow your lead on this one.
Hold on just a second. What, buddy? Honey, I can't hear you. What are you doing? What are you doing? Honey, I couldn't hear you. What are you doing? Honey, what is going on? I can't hear you. Can you please stand up? Okay. Hey, Dean. Let me help you up, buddy. Honey, can I help you up, please? Okay, let's go upstairs and I'm going to help you get some ice. Do we need to go to the hospital? Here, let me see it.
Here's a gift. This is Smokey Joe.
Let's go.
He's my proof.
I can't really see him. He's so black.
I know.
Speaking of cats, I saw a cat at PetSmart the other day that had FIV, that cat AIDS.
Oh, wow.
And I'd never seen that before. And I'm like, I want to take you home so badly.
You're good.
Do feel
You're
like
Everybody okay, man?
Jeans? I washed some jeans. They're on the dryer. All right.
Are you okay?
So, yeah, everything's good.
Okay.
Hold on. All right. So, and what are Titus and Petra doing?
We're just I figured we might end up pulling out our instruments. We're drinking. We're just merrymaking with these people. Is there anything in particular you want to do, Petra?
So I didn't hear whatever Shannon said. I lost my audio for a second. I'm sorry.
That's right. Just wondering what you guys are doing.
Drinking, singing, schmoozing the innkeeper and his wife. Is that who you said she was?
Yeah, husband and wife.
She's gonna make sure she's gonna slide them drinks too, periodically.
Okay.
Make sure they're drinking.
So after the interested rush of people taking advantage of the free round subsides, and Evangeline goes back into the kitchen to go back to cooking, Ephraim, the husband, comes up and he's like, oh, okay, well, I've served everybody else. What can I get you?
My cat stole my cupcake. Oh dear. I would like to help your poor wife in the kitchen. Shall I then? And she F's off into the kitchen.
Okay.
We'll help Evangeline.
Evangeline, yeah.
Nice.
And I'm going to pull out my lute and start playing for the whole group of people, and drink. And all I'm asking for is whiskey, and I'm just going to play and drink. And as I get drunker, I'm going to shape change to where I slowly lose weight.
Okay. So, yep, you're given your whiskey. You start playing. Petra, you go back into the kitchens. Very straightforward kitchen, somewhat similar to what you're used to from your time on in the ship's galley. Big stove, big ovens, pots boiling. Evangeline is the only one tending to the food. She's just kind of like running around. She sees you come in and she just kind of shoots a glance over at you and says, "Oh, Lady Buzzkill."
No. It's just Petra. I'm here to help.
Okay. Do you know how to cook?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, great. Can you tend the roast? It's tougher than shoe leather. Can you keep basting that, because I can't pay attention to that and get all of the rest of this stuff done. Thank you.
I can work with shoe leather.
Oh, you're a godsend. Thanks. So that was just bullshit.
Oh yeah, I was lying. I grew bored of it.
Nice. Okay. Nice to meet you. And she just wipes her hand on her apron and is Evangeline Dursk.
Lovely. And gives her a little paw.
Okay. So you are working in the kitchen.
She's softening the meat with her little nail, her little kitty. She's got her little meat tenderizers on her paws.
Is she making biscuits?
Making biscuits on the
There we go.
pot roast.
Okay. So to Xanthion and Exagora, you guys take the coach through the alleyway actually that leads directly beside the captain's quarters inn, heading west, and you cut through the alleyway and come out in a little bit of an opening, and you do see in front of you, tucked kind of in between the L shape of buildings that is made by Seneca's sawmill, and then the block that has the orphanage on it, and then the captain's quarters inn off of that just kind of acts as a shield around the Saddlebury Stables, which is in an actual large open field that opens up into what looks like farmland to the south of the town. But you find it no problems. You're there within 10 minutes of leaving the inn behind you. And what are you doing?
Hop down and.
So,
Xanthion, what do you say we go talk and see if we can get a good rate on this?
Yeah, I will ride the carriage up as close as I can get it, and then.
Oh yeah, you can ride it right up to the front door. I mean, you just ride right up to it. The building, the stable building, which is a large set of stables, because this is the only stables in town from what you have seen, is kind of set off away from itself with plenty of land around it, and you go right up to it and you head in. Most of the stalls are full. I mean, there's a couple of empty stalls, but yeah, a lot of horses in here. And you do see a female, like a darker skinned female wood elf in like riding boots and leather breeches, and definitely seems to be the one who is operating the establishment, just kind of making her way through. Looks like she's like overseeing the feeding of the horses, and while the stable hands like muck the stalls and all of that kind of stuff.
Excuse me, we're looking for a place to store our carriage.
She walks up. Okay, how big of a carriage?
I just open the front door.
She just kind of stares at it.
So large.
Okay, are you gonna need your horses stabled too?
We are. Yeah.
I can squeeze them in. Okay, yeah, we can make this work.
Do you need any help getting everything set up?
No, we can handle it. I've got enough bodies here. Let me ask you if it comes to it, if I have to ask Dusty over at the sawmill if I can park the stable inside one of his empty warehouses, are you going to have any problem with that?
No problem whatsoever.
All right.
Sounds fine.
Excellent. Okay, so for the 4 draft horses, it's going to be 6 silver pieces per day, and then we'll call it Let's call it another 5 silver pieces per day for the carriage. How long are you going to be in town?
Undecided.
Yeah, not entirely sure.
I just dropped 10 gold in front of her. So that's gonna be good enough for at least today.
Math isn't your strong suit, is it?
It's
just picks up the coins.
Logan. Yes, I'm trying to do the math in my head. I'm like, I'm just gonna drop 10 gold and be like, you know what, this is enough.
He's standing behind him, going.
What's the name?
Xanthion Lightfoot.
Xanthion Lightfoot. That's a fine elvish name. Okay, so all right, she just kind of clinks the coins together. Captain's quarters in.
Yes.
Okay, Xanthion Lightfoot. I will tell you what. When this runs out, I'll come looking for you. If I haven't heard from you by then.
Absolutely.
Sounds great.
Before we go,
not looking to pick up any extra horses, are you?
Not yet. Give us a couple of days in town. We might surprise you.
Okay, I need to get some of these stables emptied out.
I'm gonna approach the horses, just like walking down the stalls, if I can.
Yeah.
Cast Speak with Animals, and ask them if they're treated well here.
That's a good idea.
You just walk past, and like the horse looks up at you. Like, whoa!
Far out, dude.
You can talk.
You can talk.
Whoa! I can talk. Huh.
Oh no! What have I done? I've sent this horse into an existential crisis.
Flash forward 30 years, and Zecharis has been overtaken by a race of sentient, like, super horses.
Yeah.
No, the horse just looks at you. Well, no, we're brushed, and we get to graze, we get oats. I'd say, all things considered, pretty good life.
Any weird things that go on around the stables?
Not really. I mean, a lot of these guys have been here for a long time.
I'll do some asking around.
Oh,
yeah.
I've been here for a long time.
All right then. I pat him on the head, give him a little brush, and then move on.
Kind of
to
does the
another
thing
horse.
where his beak kind of goes up and down.
You'd think Emma'd be the one to give a horse an existential crisis.
And I fully move on to another horse and start asking him similar questions.
Okay.
I would be talking to the owner if she like lingers around the
I mean, she's busy, but I mean, she's not like
she
doesn't
earshot.
immediately disappear. So yeah,
Okay.
as long as you're willing to like walk with her as she goes about her business.
Sure, as long as she doesn't object to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is quite full. Like, I mean, are these just horses you're keeping for people in town, or are they ones you're trying to breed to sell, or what?
Abandoned.
Abandoned.
Yeah.
By who?
The owners check them into the stable. I mean, not all of them, of course. I mean,
right. But I mean,
several of them here that either I'm breeding or whatever. But I mean, I've probably got 10, 15 horses here that owners just never came back for them.
Just over time.
Yeah.
That's is that common in your line of work? I guess you wouldn't necessarily know unless you've worked for the places, but
I mean, I think a lot of people are just getting really nervous about all the zombies running around, so I think some people have hightailed it.
Right.
Or, God's forbid, maybe
right.
didn't make it out. But,
fair.
I mean, that's, obviously it's a tragedy, but I mean, I've got only a certain number of stalls here, and if I don't liquidate some of these horses, I really don't want to think that I would have to liquidate some of these horses, but I mean, I'm not getting paid for a lot of them.
How much would you be willing to part with one for? Just, I mean, I don't know that we need it or want it, but I'm just curious.
Riding or draft?
Well, probably riding. We're pretty well equipped for draft horses so far.
I'd let one go for 35 gold.
Really? Okay. I'm here with some other people. I'll let them know. Like I said, we'll be staying here for a while anyway, so we're so far so good.
And just so you know, That's like 30% off of what the regular cost of one would be.
Gotcha. Okay. Wow, that's a really good deal. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Spread the word, if you would, please.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Exagora. Exagora Silvertongue at your service.
Oh,
and you?
okay. Githra Willow Blossom.
It's nice to meet you, Githra.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
How big is this town? Like, how many people? Like, a ballpark?
So from what you've seen, this is maybe half the size of Elmswain, maybe about twice what Sheridan was.
Okay.
Decent sized town. Not a major metropolitan area by any stretch of the imagination, but I mean, from what you would see here, you would imagine, you would expect the population to be about probably half of what Elmswain is.
And how much was Elmswain?
I mean, you never got a full tally, but I mean, easily a couple of thousand people.
Okay.
So, this should easily be more than 1,000 people.
I was just wondering because, like, I didn't know if this was the kind of community where everybody knew each other or if it was, like, still, like, kind of like a town.
Definitely big enough that not everybody is going to know each other. And with it being primarily like a working class town where it's like, if you're here, you're most likely either a woodsman or a fisherman.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's going to be a lot of journeymen that just come through, get work for a season and then take off.
Right.
What's interesting is, like, based on the size, you would think the population would be about half of Elmswain, but then, like, on your way to the Crow's Nest, you noticed like honestly about like 1 out of every 3 storefronts or buildings or houses or whatever you were passing are either like boarded up or just seem closed and abandoned. Like there's a lot of like abandoned buildings in this town. It's not population.
All right, thank you. I was just wondering about like the air of the place. Thank you.
Yep,
That clears it up.
I'm gonna search for any interesting looking horses, some that seem kind of out of place.
Roll an investigation check.
10.
I mean, there's an assortment of horses. There's draft horses, riding horses, but as far as like unusual looking horses, not necessarily.
Any like ones that look beat up at all?
No. I mean, from what you can tell, this stable master knows what she's doing. I mean, they all seem cared for.
All right. I'm gonna look at X and be like, I need to stop by the weapon shop before we meet up with the group if you want to come.
Actually, I was wanting to check out the. I saw a lockpick store or a locksmith store. I actually kind of want to check that out.
All right, let's make some trips.
All right, sounds good.
I'll let him lead the way.
All right, one of the two of you, please roll me a d20. Okay, so you make your way up past the sawmill back to Woodman's Way, which is the way that you came in, and you find the Pointy End, which is the name of the weapon shop that you passed on your way into town. It is open for business. That is what you come to first.
Let's go inside, and before we go inside, I'll cast Detect Magic.
Detect Magic?
Yes.
Okay. There is nothing in the store that is magical that you have access to.
I will walk up to the shopkeep and be like, I need arrows. Whatever you got.
The end. All right, so you walk up to the front counter. This female half-orc stands about 6'4", turns around, looks at you, hair tied back into a tight bun. She's like little like tuskling things sticking out up from her lower jaw. Arrows. Okay, I can definitely get you arrows. How many do you need?
A lot. As many as you can give me. That's a comfortable amount to part with.
I mean, I probably have 500 arrows in this place. How many do you actually need?
70.
Okay, thanks for settling on a number. And you can just mark off 70 arrows procured.
As he's just having that conversation, I would just sort of browse like the dagger area, small handheld weapon area.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna pull off the giant blade that's on Xanthion's back now.
Okay.
Set it on the counter. Anything you can tell me about this, craftsmanship-wise? A sane way to use it?
She just kind of looks it over, picks it up by the two like little carved out grooves with handhelds built into it, takes it, kind of swings it, getting a feel for the heft. Never seen anything like this. It's an impressive weapon. I mean, best way to use it's probably just to swing at something. If you hit it, I don't think it's going to be getting up afterwards.
Thanks.
You're not interested in parting with it, are you?
No.
Okay.
You hear Exagora just kind of over his shoulder a little loudly, "How much you want for it? Or how much you pay for it?"
I mean, money talks, so...
Just curious.
Oh. It's an interesting conversation piece, if nothing else.
Does it help that I got it off of someone who worshipped the Lady of Woe?
I don't know if I would say that helps.
Yeah, we were jumped on the way here.
Yeah, this is the trophy I got.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to... it's interesting. It's a conversation piece.
At least you can swing it.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd give you 100 gold for it.
Xanthion looks at X.
I mean, technically it's your call.
Do you have any other great swords?
Oh yeah, I've got tons of great swords.
Willing to trade?
Straight trade?
Maybe not straight. Great sword and 20 gold.
Yeah. Yeah. Great sword and 20 gold, definitely.
I look over at X.
I'd do it. Well, I'd check out the sword first, but if it's me, I would.
Yeah, I'd like to inspect the sword first.
And actually, so as soon as there's interest, she's like, "Do you prefer dwarven craftsmanship, orcish craftsmanship, elven craftsmanship?"
Surprise me. I'm
actually
interested
while you're
in a
looking.
blade.
How about daggers? Anything in particular good back there?
I mean, nothing special, but I mean, whatever kind of design you're looking for, I'm sure I can come up with. Just turns around and grabs off of the back, mounted up against the wall. She pulls down a great sword and lays it down on the counter, and it's got runes carved along the entire edge of the blade, all the way up, and it's round.
What language would I have to be able to read them?
You've never really. What languages do you read?
Draconic, Dwarvish, Elvish, Giant, and Gnomish.
They're giant.
What do they say?
They are not. They don't say anything. They're runes, so they're like marks of like protection, honor, valor.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
Basically, like the gods guide this blade. True, that kind of thing. But nothing.
Gotcha. I'll even trade. Throw in a dagger and how much, and then balance out I don't know how much gold a dagger is worth.
I'll throw in a dagger. Sure.
I mean, I'll show her what I've got dagger wise, and if she can beat it, then I'll be interested. Just a standard.
I mean, I don't. What are you looking for? Anything in particular?
Looking for something that, dagger, maybe just anything that's, portable. Anything that can keep a sharp edge. He's trying to say it without saying it. Easy to sneak up behind somebody and stab him. Something easy to keep on hand if you need it for various things.
Okay. Well,
I mean, you never know. I mean, there's undead walking around for crying out loud. You always want to have something on you.
oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Well, I mean, I tell you what. How about, I don't know. I don't know much about the undead. Doesn't like silver like help against? I don't know. I got some daggers that are silvered. You want one of those?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll take one of those.
Okay.
They're basically the same as anything else. Stick it with the pointy end till they stop moving.
I lean back and whisper to X, we gotta remember we're kind of dealing with fiends too. And just lean back forward.
I couldn't hear you.
Oh. I lean back and say, we're kind of dealing with fiends too, so...
Right.
You're saying this to a tiefling.
Yeah, I am saying this.
He leans
Full
over.
Disregard for everything.
He leans over. Yeah, you gotta watch out for those bastards.
You're telling me.
Well, I mean, with it being silvered, I mean that's a little bit more than normal cost. So how about
Sure.
the dagger, the great sword, and 15 gold?
Sounds good.
All right. So you've got a great sword, you've got a silvered dagger, and you've got 15 gold richer.
I give him the silver dagger. X.
Thank you,
All
sir.
right. And then you make your way to the locksmith?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Pinset Locksmith, which is right next to the orphanage. And it is dark. The windows are dark. There does not appear to be anybody inside.
Well, I guess. I don't know. It's midday. They should be someone here, but I suppose maybe not.
I knock on the door.
No answer.
Does it look abandoned?
It looks closed. It doesn't look abandoned in the sense that it's run down.
We're just not having good luck today.
No, I know. I guess we'll come back. I mean, I don't want to, try to force the door open. This is somebody's business.
Any other shops that looked interesting on our way to town? Or
anything else
through town?
Well, on your way in, you passed the Pointy End, which you've been to, Reader's Creed, which is seems to be a bookbinder shop, Pinset Locksmith, the Bucker's Binge Tavern, and the Swillery, which are both public houses, and a Stitch and Time Seamstress.
Any of those seem interesting, X?
No, I think I'm actually kind of good here. Oh, and by the way, as a side note, Shannon, anytime X is in a city like this, especially one he hasn't been to, he would always keep, I mean, not a focus on it, but just sort of a vague, if he sees any like graffiti, thieves can't writing anywhere, anything like that, just if he spots it, just to kind of keep it in the back of his mind.
Oh, okay, good to know.
Yep.
You got it.
Nope, I think I'm actually good for now. Nowhere I can think of I need to go. You?
No. There was someone looking for some mystery to unsolve, maybe.
Yes. Something about a barber, I think it said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe check it out, hear about it, and.
That sounds good. Let's do that. Did we see a barber?
You have not seen the barber surgeon. That you have not come across that yet.
All right.
Maybe just go to the
bar.
Yeah, let's go to the bar. Somebody there's bound to know.
All right, we'll head to the inn.
Okay.
Or the inn. That's what I was trying to think of. Yeah.
So Felix and Morlo, you guys are making your way back at this point. Isaac, what is Emma settling on for purchasing?
I sent you a list on Messenger of everything I'm looking for.
You are the best. Okay.
I also gave you the prices of them. Then these are looking for the materials to create them, not the items themselves. Except for the last one.
Okay, so the proprietor of the Crow's Nest does not have the bones for casting Augury.
Okay.
And through a very interesting assortment of sounds and scratched out writing, actually recommends that you check a place called Myrtle's Mystic Menagerie.
All right.
Everything else they would have except for the potion of hill giant strength
Mm-hmm.
and the truth serum. They do not have the ingredients for those.
I just picture Emma poisoning people with potions.
What do you mean?
Wake up, Morlo, one morning, and he's just really strong because you've like drugged him.
Oh my god.
He has an IV bag in of just potion of giant strength.
Let me
Or
get
like
a calculator.
Or like truth serum soup at dinner for all of us.
Yeah. But
Crazy
honestly, you've
conversation.
got people in the party that can cast Zone of Truth, so truth serum is probably redundant.
If I wanted to look in to see if any place had gloves of thievery for sale, what place would do that, and is there one here?
None that you have come across yet.
Okay. Would that be an armorer shop that would have that, or just so I know?
It's pretty rare to find
Yeah,
magical items at trade outside of the Three Kingdoms themselves. Like Parassus, Anmar, and Cortana are large enough to actually have a trade.
Right.
Sorvel is known to trade some magical items just because that's the seat of the Sabian Conclave, the Sorcerer's Society. And there's always like people who are selling magical items at Bright Hollow. It's one of the things that it's known for during Odic Fest. But,
right. How do I add a silver dagger to my character? I don't know how to do that. We can deal with it later if
it's just under your equipment tab.
It'll be under
how do
inventory.
Yeah, but I mean, how do I put one in there? Just add equipment and then
add equipment and then look for dagger silvered.
Okay.
And I'll help you run through it out of session.
That's fine.
Okay.
And I also want to add, I have 9 vials of those potent poisons that I make with the feet.
Mm-hmm.
How much would and I'm gonna ask him how much you would buy those for.
Does that list a price?
It takes 50 gold to make them.
So if you go off of
go off the standard, they're 100
the rule
gold.
of thumb, they would be 100 each. So you start showing, like, are you showing them?
I'll like take one out and be like, how much would you buy this for?
Oops.
And just looks at it and is like, shakes their head. Like, you're getting the sense that there's probably some trepidation here with it being
poison.
Straight up poison. Yeah. And just kind of looks at it and points at it.
Please stop that.
And she nods and puts it away.
Oh, ha 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 ha.
God, you're having fun with that. Shannon?
Yes.
Do I know if I could process that poison, like work on it more to process it into an antidote?
It stands to reason that any poison you would be able to make, you could develop a so, and I mean, especially since you're proficient with alchemist supplies, like, yeah, you could figure out an antidote to it.
All right, I'll probably end up doing that to sell it.
It's going to take some research. It would probably be similar to
Yeah.
like researching a new spell or something, or a new magic item, but yeah, you could definitely do it. Okay.
I want to buy here. I would like to buy enough to make one. Hold on. Let me make sure I get this right. 25 times 2. You said he had 500 gold worth of healing potion stuff?
Just on what you see out on the shelves.
She's gonna point towards the like the shelves, and she's gonna ask if he has any more of it in like the back.
Nodding up and down.
All right, I'm gonna buy 750 gold worth of healing potions.
Yep, he has it.
Let me deduct that. That's the biggest deduction.
And just looks over at the poison, looks over at how much stuff you're buying for healing potions.
Maybe you should consider another profession, like knitting.
Like, said with a look of concern in this crow's eyes.
She's gonna like look up at it and kind of chuckle. I wish I could.
All right.
I'm gonna buy enough for. I'll just get you a list of what all I buy.
Just give me a list. You know what everything costs. I trust you to take care of it.
All right.
And okay, so Christian, Scott, you guys make your way back toward the captain's quarters inn.
The song I've been singing is nothing but about all of our travels and what we have done, and all the way to the point of getting out of that car and coming in here and acting like crazy fools.
Okay, great. All right. So you guys make your way back to the inn. And actually, at this point, unless there's anything else anybody else is going to do, we can say the entire party reconvenes at the inn.
Nothing from me.
Okay, great. So what's the plan?
Get drunk.
Nice.
Petra exits the kitchen probably just as everybody else is coming in.
Yeah,
with
kind of like right
piping
as
hot
the
food.
right as the lunch rush is starting to like die down just a little bit. Everybody makes their way back, so Petra will make her way out.
I brought snacks.
Woo!
So yeah, Petra comes out of the kitchen with like platters of finger foods.
Charcuterie boards. Charcuterie boards.
Sharp coochie boards.
It's an Asian
I'm gonna,
thing.
yeah, she's gonna say that in game.
Oh, and to answer your question, Ed, that you sent me in Messenger, yes, it was this town that was said that the bailiff's office was in a bit of a pickle.
Gotcha.
Okay. So, you guys are all together at the inn. Quick look here. All right, so Ephraim comes up after bussing some tables, and some of the other wait staff are cleaning up as the common room of the inn kind of starts to empty out to the point where, other than a couple of stragglers, you guys are really the only ones. And Ephraim comes up and just starts wiping down the bar in front of you. And he says, "Well, that's the best entrance I've seen into here for a while." Looks over at you, Petra, and just like points and says, "Hey, thanks for giving Evangelina some help with that. That was your friend over here," pointing at Titus. That extra round of drinks kind of put us behind a little bit, but I appreciate you helping us catch up.
Always willing to help out.
So, dare I ask what your actual names are? Because I have a feeling you're not really the Buzzkills.
No, quite the opposite, actually. I'm Petra. This is who are you choosing to be now? She looks at Titus.
I just shrink down into my normal self and be like, I'll just be me and keep playing the song.
Show off.
Welcome to the captain's quarters. Will you be needing a place to stay?
Yes, please. Rooms for all of us? Anyone want to share? I call Big Spoon.
How are the rooms set up?
That from just as well. I've got singles, I got doubles, I've got a master suite, I've got a few different options.
Ooh, master suite.
I'll take a single unless someone wants to share a double with Xanthion. Don't all jump at once.
I'm taking a master suite. I don't care what any of you do. You're welcome to join me.
Under normal circumstances, I would warn you what the cost of the master suite is, but glancing down at the stack of platinum he has down behind the bars, I don't think that's going to be a problem. It's 4 gold a night.
Perfect.
So what makes it the master suite?
It's the biggest room I have.
It's the biggest room? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Fair
the
enough.
biggest, I guess, suite. I mean, it's got the bedroom, the common area. It's a suite.
Fair enough. I'll just take a single. I got you.
Okay.
I've been there.
Singles, 6 silver for the singles. You get dinner with that.
That'll work.
All right. And so if you're getting a single, mark off 6 silver pieces. Petra, mark off 5 gold. Whoever wants whatever. A double is 9 silver pieces, so split between the 2 people would be 4 silver, 5 copper.
How do I only have gold, so how do I do that?
So you would take down a gold and then add back 4 silver pieces.
Let me find it.
Do you see where it shows how much gold you have?
I know I've seen it, but I'm looking and don't see it right now.
It's right in the middle of the page
inventory.
on your right.
It's under inventory?
Yeah.
Okay. There it is, yeah.
Just double click the number and it'll bring up a thing.
Okay.
Okay.
And how many silver is one? Okay. Silver is 10. So,
Yep.
and then you just charge me how much?
6 silver pieces.
Okay,
So
so
you
I got
mark
4.
down a gold and up 4 silver pieces.
Gotcha. Thanks, man.
No problem. All right. So we can just say, for the sake of brevity, that you guys settle into the inn, find your rooms. The master suite is nice, Petra, and definitely big enough if it's where you guys want to hang out in like common until it's bedtime and you all go to your rooms. The master suite is definitely big enough to accommodate the 8 of you in like a social setting.
Okay.
But not to speak for you or what the arrangements are. But I would like to know who is rooming with who.
I'll take Little Spoon if nobody takes up Little Spoon for Petra.
Okay, so Titus and Petra in the master suite.
Petra spoons really well. She did it for him before.
She's a little cat backpack.
Xanthion will stay with X.
Okay.
Okay. I got a single, but do we need it? So am I staying with you? I just marked off gold for a single. But so how do we?
I mean, it's your character. You sleep with whoever you want.
Hey, man, we don't. What happens in the single stays in the single.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Nice.
No, I'll get a single and Xanthion will stay by himself.
Okay.
Okay.
I sent you what all I bought, Shannon.
Okay. Just mark it on your character sheet and mark off the correct amount of gold.
I bought a lot.
Yeah, you did.
And Felix is going to take a double and room with Natari.
Okay.
Would he? Could I actually try and roll a persuasion to see if I can talk him into any kind of bulk discount?
Bulk discount?
Yeah.
You can go ahead and try. Yeah.
Should have thought of that.
Nice. All right. So with renting out the master suite, so he's getting 5 gold a night. He actually throws in the rest of the rooms at no charge, so you guys can settle up however you want to pay for that. But it's 5 gold total for rooms for everybody.
Nice.
All right. And you guys settle into the inn. Anything that you guys are wanting to do as you settle in?
Santhion's gonna meditate and try to contact Leaf through his signal tattoo thing.
Got it.
I'm going to change into a old lady and just peer out the curtains.
Okay. Roll a perception check.
I don't know why that's so funny.
I thought you were gonna go tease Xanthion.
All right. So you're being a little old lady spying on what's going on in the town.
Yeah. I'm just like, well, I feel like being curious. So I just take the shape of somebody curious.
Yeah. Once it, once it gets good and dark, Exgore is going to sneak out of his single room and go see if he can get into that locksmith business.
Okay, we're not there yet, but I will get to that.
Okay.
All right. Christian, now that we are in town, is Felix going to cast the sending spells?
Yes. He is going to cast.
Please don't. I mean, if you don't want to, that's fine. I was just asking.
Oh, I word this, but I'll figure it out as best I can. Just double check, make sure I got rid of Fireball because Fireball. Oops. There we go. Okay. So, first sending, he is going to try to reach out to Talavan. So I'll roll that D100 for you.
Okay.
23.
Okay. What's the message?
We were told that you were lost. Please respond if you are alive.
No response.
Yeah. Well, sort of collecting himself. Sends another one. No, not to Talavan. Your Majesty, please update me on the state of the city. We are in Wellsgrove and on our way.
The situation is dire. We're facing threats from without and from within. You'll have to forgive me, but not knowing who this is, I guard my words.
Burn the spell slots to cast another one. Your Majesty, it's your cousin Felix.
Is that the entire message?
Yes.
I fear for the fate of our kingdom, cousin. Octavius' house has been compromised by imposters. We're on the cusp of civil war. The situation was dire before this. I suggest you pray.
Is that it? That it for his response?
Yes.
So now the bat cat's out of the bag as far as Octavius' house is concerned. Oh, double checking. Sorry, did not expect that turn of events. Oop, no, not that button. What does this button do? Everybody get the reference?
No, I do not.
Dexter's Laboratory, man.
I love that cartoon.
It was such a good one.
I remember.
I remember. You remember? I remember.
Omelette du fromage.
Omelette du fromage.
Remember
Yes.
Ewoks? Y'all remember Ewoks?
I remember. You remember Cat Fighter?
All right. So, any other sending spells?
No other sending spells.
Okay. After you get done with the wizard Twitter, there's a knock on your door.
Good old Witter. Come in.
The door opens. It is a liveried servant of the Reeves house. Lord Septim.
Yes.
Reeve Caldera Wall sends her deepest regrets. A bit of an emergency has come up that she has to attend to. She is asking if you would meet her for breakfast.
What kind of emergency?
Not at liberty to discuss the Reeves affairs, but it has to do with the orphanage.
Has to do with what?
The orphanage.
Is the Reeve in danger?
Oh, no. No, just a communique from the capital.
A communique from the capital?
Oh, Parasus, sorry. Communique from Parasus.
Well, I understand that. But where's the orphanage?
It's next to the Bucker's Binge, just around the corner from here, to the west.
Follow me.
Sir?
Follow me.
Yes, my lord. Takes a few steps behind you.
This communique from the capital. As we're walking, how dire is it?
It simply begs the Reeves' attention, my lord. I'm afraid she won't have time to meet with you.
Well, I'm not going to meet with her about what I was going to discuss. I'm going to see what's going on in this city. It's bad enough you don't have a bailiff. Now your Reeve is having to attend to matters like this. It simply won't do.
My lord, it might be safer for you to remain inside.
Ah, so there is danger. Good. Now we're getting somewhere. Fine. And I say that loud enough so the rest of the party can hear me.
Okay. So you kind of hear
danger.
Felix's voice echoing through the hallway, carrying these words.
Xanthion will go investigate.
I say, what is all of that racket in that hallway? I tell you, I'm just trying to sit here quietly look out this window.
Oh, shut up, you leathery old hag. Come on, come with us.
We're gonna sick Xanthion on you if you don't shush it.
All right, fine. Let me find my cane.
So as you tear yourself away from the window, Titus, across the way, for just a second, you think you see a shadow of movement in one of the windows of the massive halfling. Then you look back and nothing there.
It has been mentally noted. And then as I'm walking, well, I found my cane, but I swear there's somebody over there in that halfling. I saw a curtain move or something. It was in a window, not a wall.
We'll investigate later. Shuffle a little faster, will you now?
I'll start changing into my normal Titus human look and be like, all right, fine, let's go ruffle some feathers.
As Felix is marching along, well, what can you tell me of this danger?
And so where are you marching to right now?
At this point, just heading downstairs out the front door.
Okay, so you head down and start to move through the common room. At this point, let's see here. All right, so at this point, Ephraim Dursk is behind the counter, like serving drinks and everything, and you see him look up at this commotion as you're coming through, and the servant that is marching with you kind of like takes a step around you, Felix, and kind of like actually bars your path and just says, the Reeve is asking everyone to remain indoors.
Felix, how do I put this? Remember the face that I made as Joseph when I tried scaring all the brothers?
Yeah.
That's about the face that Felix gets.
Roll me an intimidation check.
Am I out there with him, or is I already
Yeah,
gone?
we're going to say that everybody is together.
Okay.
Who wants to be?
Just a full party standing behind him.
Errant, disrespectful little cur. I am a son of the Septim House, and you will not stand in my way.
Yeah,
Goes,
and
oh no,
I,
he's whipping out the titles.
yeah, and Xanthion overdoes it.
The servant just steps to the side, lowers his head.
Oh, come on, let's move. You're not out of this yet.
Why, one moment. Why are we supposed to stay inside? Is it zombies? Reaching into my bag of holding, pulling out my musket. Is it zombies?
I really wish you were still a little old lady. All right. So.
Petra slips a gold to the poor servant that didn't need to take all that guff. There you go, darling. Pats him on the head.
It's not the undead. It's information from Parasus that the Reeve is acting upon. And as you guys exit the captain's quarters into the town square, you see basically a regiment of guards corps all marching their way north through the city square from the guards corps keep toward the preparatorium, which is a school that sits on the north side of the city square.
Is that school a school? One of those schools?
What?
Talking like a boarding school?
No, one of the schools ran by Octavia.
Those schools.
What is it?
I've heard guards people come up to them and say that they're gonna have to.
Oh no, that's a good idea, but this is something that's been set in motion by the previous actions of the party.
Uh-oh.
So they head up. You ask that to the servant, and he says, That is one of the schools that is run by Octavius House.
Guys, we're in. How well tied are you all to the school?
It's operated here for generations.
And what family line is are we trying to talk to, Felix?
I'm trying to talk to the Reeve.
And what family line is the Reeve?
And the servants the Reeve is not of noble lineage.
All right, I'll follow your lead, Felix.
And at this point, the Guards Corps soldiers essentially descend on and surround the preparatorium.
As we're walking, I was like, I feel like there's a lot more we should know before we start following soldiers anywhere. I mean, what's the deal with all this?
Hang on, sorry, I took a bit bite.
It's all right.
Petra just goes where the party goes.
Well, this is apparently where the party goes, but where the party is, where we're headed. But
So about this time, this is when Felix is going to reveal. I just had to communicate with the king, and apparently Octavius House is out in the open about being infiltrators.
What do you mean?
Meaning that now the entire government of the Three Kingdoms knows that Octavius House has infiltrated key infrastructures of the kingdom.
At this point,
I'll be damned.
On the north of the square, a few hundred feet from where you're standing, the door of the preparatorium opens, and you see a man come out wearing finery and is talking to the soldiers. And there's back and forth, and it seems to be escalating. And the person dressed in nobleman's apparel just starts getting a little bit more agitated until eventually they start grabbing him. The soldiers start grabbing him by the shoulders, and they slap manacles on his wrists and start dragging him forcefully away.
What was the argument about?
Roll a perception check to see if you can hear from where you're at.
Can I roll one too?
Yeah, anybody who wants in on it, that's fine.
Is that a D20?
Yep. Well, perception.
Yeah, I got you.
So those of you, Petra, Titus,
25.
Yeah, Xanthion. So you guys are definitely rolling high enough to catch bits of the conversation. The headmaster of the preparatorium is being placed under arrest by order of the king of Parassus. And he's puffing up and saying, I am a nobleman, you will not accost me. And they're basically telling him, you have been stripped of all title and all prestige. Octavius House are traitors to the crown. And then they slap the manacles on him and start dragging him away.
Felix is still moving towards the scene.
I'm going to do a full 360, and as I turn, I'm changing not into Titus no more, as long as no one's looking.
Roll me a stealth check.
Oh fuck!
And about how far away would Felix be?
If this doesn't work, I will burn something.
Okay, so what are you changing into?
Just one of the regular looking fishermen I saw in here earlier that
Okay.
is not in here no more.
You got it.
And
Christian,
did I happen to catch his name, the regular fisherman?
no, you were pretty busy putting on a performance. Christian, Felix is probably about 150 feet from it now.
Okay, still going forward.
And you're going forward, and now
I'm catching up to Felix.
And the detachment of Guards Corps who are actually carrying at this point up off of the ground the member of Octavia's house, just coming your way, and they're just calling for everybody to clear the square.
I get out of their way.
So they've been dragging past at this point.
You're breaking up, Shannon.
I'm still broken up.
Yeah, it is. How about now?
Still spotty.
Yep, say it again.
Anything?
There you
Better.
go.
So they kind of carry him past you and toward the guards' court keep. What do you guys want to do?
Can I, as they're walking past, I'm going to say, is he being carried like in the middle between two people?
By about, like in the middle of about 8.
Never mind.
Wait, is this guy a member of Octavia's house?
That's what I gathered.
Roll a perception check.
Talking to me?
Yeah.
And I get 15 because I roll with advantage.
Yep. So yeah, you do notice an emblem of Octavia's house around his neck as he's kind of thrashing about and being manhandled.
I just look back to Emma. Emma, any chance of that moonbeam?
I thought Emma wasn't there.
Oh, is she not there?
Yeah, so you turn and look to see Emma, and so Emma did not join the commotion.
No, Emma was off on the other side of the town.
Oh no, we said that for the sake of like this is later, like this is toward evening.
Oh,
I thought you said
okay.
you were heading back to the inn after you were done getting your
Well, I
supplies.
was gonna go to the shop he referred me to, but okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit.
Okay, refresh me what was going on because I was like listening with half an ear.
Okay, so the headmaster of the preparatorium, who is a member of Octavia's house, has just been arrested and is being dragged through the streets toward the guards' court keep.
Emma's gonna look over at Felix, and just kind of nod, and she's gonna mutter a word under her breath and cast a moonbeam on the Octavian.
What's the diameter of moonbeam?
Moonbeam. Give me just a second. It is a 5-foot radius. So, 10-foot diameter.
There is he's being carried, so you're going to hit guards court with this if you do it.
Emma's going to Are they like carrying him off right now, like away?
Yeah, like they're taking him to the guards court keep.
Can you hold on a minute?
Sure, roll a persuasion check. Yeah, they don't stop.
Okay, I apologize in advance. She's gonna hit him.
Sorry, after you.
Am I close to where she is and where they are? Where Emma is and where the guards and the
Yeah, you're kind of all together. Yeah.
I see her try to do that, doesn't work. So I sort of not yell, but in a voice loud enough where they're able to hear. Excuse me, could we have a word with that man for just a moment, please?
All right. As you're saying that, she's actually casting the spell.
Okay.
Go ahead and roll me a perception or a persuasion check. 13. Yeah, no, they don't stop. Okay, so what is your spell save DC?
15, and if they're a shape changer, then make it with disadvantage.
All right.
I got a 13, a +9.
All right, go ahead and roll damage. $13 radiant damage. Spell save DC 15. I think I'm going to wrap up with this. Okay. And how much? So this radiant beam of moonlight comes blasting down. The person who is being carried immediately screams in pain and reverts in form to the shape that you have seen Titus take a couple of times. Just the plain white features. The guards corps who are in the radius of the effect also kind of scream. They drop him. There's a moment of confusion. Then they all start like grabbing him and just bolting for the guards corps keep.
I am gonna follow.
All right. Are you keeping concentration up?
No. It was all the confirmation I needed.
Okay. All right. And
I will follow.
Can I actually question? Can I actually keep concentration up but dismiss it temporarily and then bring it back? No.
It's either all or nothing. It's either you're concentrating to keep it up or it goes away.
Okay.
Because if you can temporarily dismiss the effect, it would say that in the spell description.
Yeah. All right.
If anyone is around Titus right now, they hear, "What have I done?"
And they go running into the guards corps keep and they just slam and lock the door behind them.
I'll bang on the door.
There's the proof.
So you go up to the door, and at this point, the guards corps that had surrounded the building just starts spreading out through the town square, just yelling, like telling everybody to get inside and clear the square.
Shannon?
Yes.
Someone that might look like the Reeve?
Roll me a perception check.
Okie dokie. That's persuasion. Perception. 13.
Glancing around, all of the women that you do see out and about are in guards corps armor. You do not see anybody that looks like the Reeve.
So Felix is going to basically yell out something along the lines of, "Get someone here who's in command. Get someone here I can talk to."
And a few minutes later, you hear just more like shouts of like, "Clear the square, clear the square, by order of the captain, clear the square," and they're just not paying any attention to your demands.
I'm gonna grab someone by the shoulders and be like, "Get us someone in charge now."
Roll me an intimidation check.
$21.
21. Just looks over. The guy you grabbed just looks over and is like, "Captain?" And from Preparatorium, you see human wearing the nicest armor of anybody in the square comes walking over, like salt and pepper hair, sharp jawline, just walks up to you, piercing brown eyes. Says, yes.
Sorry
Felix.
for Captain. Felix Septon, at your service.
My lord, now is not exactly the time.
I know we are versed in this issue already. I just had to communicate from the king. I know what's going on. I have the means to help you suss out these infiltrators. As you saw, I will personally heal the guards who were caught in the crossfire. Again, my apologies. But we have the means to suss out these shape changers who are working on Octavius House's behalf.
Wonderful. For right now, my primary concern is regaining order in my city, but I promise you, we will dispatch a communique for you when we are ready to hear what you have to say. It will not be long, but for now, please just return to the inn.
All right. You heard the man. Let's go.
Woman, I'm pretty sure.
Woman or man?
No, the captain of the guard was a man.
Oh,
okay.
I'm
hearing
things.
There is a woman. She's not dead.
Right.
Not that we know of. Oh, God. So, Felix is going to look at the page boy, page girl, I don't know, page person. Sorry about that. Here's a couple gold pieces for your assistance.
Thank you, my lord. I'd need to be returning to the Reeves Manor.
Yes, and give the Reeve my apologies for keeping you so long.
How far is that from here?
South, almost out of town, probably about 2 blocks.
I'll escort you.
No.
You see what I just... I sent a message, Shannon.
Okay. Good to know. Okay. No, it's fine. There are plenty of guards corps who can escort me.
Be sure they do.
Imperative that you all remain inside.
Yes.
Why is it imperative we remain inside?
Because the captain told you to.
Because the man with the pointy sticks told us that we had to. So let's not make more enemies.
Santiago walks away and mumbles under his breath, I have pointy sticks too.
But I want to go to the danger.
And at this point, you're basically like herded by guards corps into the common room of the captain's quarters.
As he's being pushed, you just hear Exeter go, well, I never. I mean, sometimes, but mostly never.
Occasionally.
Petra goes, a little lower, darling, as she's being pushed and herded.
Yeah. So you guys go into the common room of the inn. Ephraim is just kind of peering out the window as you guys come in, and he just looks over at you and he's like, well, you folks certainly brought some excitement with you to town.
Oh, the excitement was already here. It's just finally been found out.
Okay. Well, anything I can get you before you turn in?
Oh, I'm not turning in. I want to see what comes of this.
Pretty please.
Any dinner?
No. I'm gonna. Never mind. I'm not gonna say that. Inappropriate. I want all the alcohol, please.
Indeed. Okay.
I'll gladly take a dinner.
Excellent.
I'll take a meal as well.
All right. I'll go fire up the ovens.
I'll also take a meal.
Excellent. Okay. Give me a second. Give me a while. I'm not a particularly good cook. I really got to invest in a good. I gotta hire a good cook. And he turns.
Mind if I help in the kitchen?
Yeah, come on back.
Nimma's gonna get up and walk over.
Okay. Then goes back into the kitchens.
So is the common area cleared of people?
Yes, at this point, yes.
Titus.
And you look around and Titus is not there.
Damn it, Titus.
Why did Titus get to go and I didn't?
And in a little bit, Ephraim comes out with plates of food and starts setting it down in front of all of you. Looks over at you, Emma, and just says, thanks for the help.
Mm-hmm.
Looks over at you, Petra, and says, yeah, thank you for the help. earlier as well. You wouldn't be interested in, making some money as a full-time cook, would you?
I'm not really interested in making money, but I'll cook for you while I'm here.
Thanks, I appreciate that. It's kind of
Sure
hard
thing. I
running.
grew up in the kitchen.
Yeah, it's just kind of hard running the whole place by myself.
Oh, absolutely. I'm here for you, doll.
This place could use a woman's touch.
Well, I mean, I am rather touchy. I do like touching things, but I wouldn't say it's very womanly. Ooh. Did you guys hear that thunder?
Yeah.
I did.
Is that what that was? Yeah.
Wow.
All right. So settling in to a meal in the common room of the captain's quarters inn in a Wellsgrove that is now at least temporarily under lockdown.
After I eat, I would like to sneak on top of the roof.
All right.
If Xanthan notices that, he will join her.
Petra's going to drink and sing.
And as we go out about breaking curfew, that is where we will pick up next session.
Alrighty.
Experience.
Everybody take 850 experience points.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, that levels me up.
That it? Oh, what do we got? What do we got?
What?
Yes.
Okay, so I gotta get Ed used to this. I would like to add 1 experience point for Emma. Just for you.
I'll take 851.
I am now 5,000 away from 3rd level fighter.
Woo!
I'm at 3420, baby.
Woo!
Hey.
Ooh, we gonna do that. Level up. Shannon, did you want me to roll HP into the party chat or just whisper it to you?
Whichever.
Okay. 1 second here.
So how do I add that again? Sorry.
You're fine.
Under manage XP.
Yeah. I see.
Good
manage.
news! Natari is no longer the only one with Revivify. Woo!
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
All right. Welcome to Wellsgrove, everybody.
Oh.
There we go.
A very militant town.
Yeah. In no small part, very much due to what the party